Hi, Matt.
Hi, Miss Zoe. How are you?
Good.
Are you wearing rainbows?
Well, Shavua Tov, everyone. It's a rainy Saturday night. We've had such great weather. I guess this is the price we pay for that. But we're all cuddled inside, and what a wonderful time to have Annette and everybody together. And then for those of us that are younger than the rest of us, to then go to bed, and for those of us that are older, to maybe finish the Shabbos wine and Netflix or something. It's great to see everybody. And Annette, it's terrific to see you. You're not in the same home as your parents right now? Is that what's
I
going on?
am not. My kids are I'm usually not in the same home as my parents, just to preface.
Well, your kids are there.
I am not in the same home as my kids right now who are at my parents' house.
Wow, what a gift!
Hey, whoop, whoop.
Yay
To
for
lead Havdallah on my own. That's the dream.
Okay, well let's begin.
All right. So this is one of my favorite Havdallah songs. It's by a duo called Eric and Happy. Not the sweetest name ever, Happy. It's called Hamavdil. Hamavdil, Hamavdil ben Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh lechol. Hamavdil, Hamavdil ben Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh lechol. Please join me. Hamavdil, Hamavdil ben Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh lechol. Hamavdil, Hamavdil ben Kodesh, Kodesh, Kodesh lechol. Shavua Tov.
That was fantastic. Thank you, Annette. That was wonderful. Yay. So I actually want to share, I think, two stories tonight. Can we do a double header? It's such a nice day. Let's play two. Can we try that? Ernie Banks. So one is a story about stories that rabbis tell. I guess that everybody tells, and the other is one of my favorite stories. And I always say that. So a long time ago, the Dubner Maggid, and a Maggid is a storyteller, was walking with one of his students along the banks of a river. And as they walked, the Maggid told a story to explain a certain Jewish tradition. Suddenly, the student stopped and asked, Rabbi, tell me, how do you always know the right story to explain the subject that we're discussing? The rabbi smiled and said, I'll answer you with a story. Now, many years ago, the rabbi said a nobleman's son was a student at a military academy, and one of the sports in which he was an expert was shooting bullseyes with an arrow. In fact, he had won many gold medals with his marksmanship. And after he was awarded his diploma, the young officer rode home on his horse. And passing through a tiny village, he saw 100 circles drawn on the side of a barn. And at the center of each circle was an arrow. The officer was so amazed that he stopped his horse and he yelled, "Who is this expert shot? 100 perfect bullseyes. This is incredible. Even I could not do that." And just then, a young boy walked by looking up at the officer on his tall horse, and he smiled and laughed. "Oh, that's Nar. Nar's our town fool." "Well, I don't care what he is," interrupted the officer. "Whoever can shoot 100 perfect bullseyes must have won every gold medal in the world. I must meet and shake his hand." "No, no, 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 you don't understand," said Nar as he laughed. Said the boy, "Nar doesn't draw the circles first and then shoot the arrow. He shoots first and then he draws the circles." "And that's how it is with me," continued the Dubner Magi, the rabbi, the storyteller. "I don't always know the right subject being discussed, but what I do is I read many, many, many stories, and then I listen to many, many, many stories, and I remember all of these stories. And then when I find a story that I want to tell, I introduce the subject that leads me to telling that perfect story. I shoot the arrow, and then I draw the circle." That's an old rabbinic trick, by the way. And so now a story that might fit into that circle, maybe, maybe not. This is another rabbi, and his name was Rabbi Bunam. And Rabbi Bunam used to tell young men who came to him for the first time the story of Reb Itzik, the son of Reb Yekel of Krakow. After many years of great poverty, which had never shaken his faith in God, Reb Itzik dreamed that someone bade him to him, that someone gave him told him a message, a dream, to look for a treasure in Prague, under the bridge which leads to the king's palace. And when the dream reoccurred for a third time, Reb Itzik prepared for the long journey to set out for Prague. He just believed that this dream must be true, and he had to go follow his dream, which was to go find this treasure buried underneath a bridge that leads to the king's palace in Prague, far away from where he was in Krakow. But the bridge was guarded day and night, and he did not dare to start digging in front of a guard. But nevertheless, he went to the bridge every single morning and kept walking around until evening. Finally, the captain of the guards, who had been watching him, asked in a kindly way whether he was looking for something or maybe waiting for somebody. Reb Itzik told him of the dream which he had had that brought him to Prague from a faraway country, from a faraway place in Krakow. And this captain of the guard, he laughed. He laughed and laughed and laughed. "And so, to please the dream, you poor fellow, you wore out your shoes to come here. As for having faith in dreams, if I had it, I should have had to get going long, long ago, because I once had a dream that told me to go to Krakow and to dig for a treasure under the stove in the home of an old Jew named Itzik, son of Yankel. That was his name in my dream. And I can just imagine what it would have been like, how I would have should have gone there and tried every house over there, and where half the Jews are all named Itzik and the other half are all named Yankel." And he laughed and he laughed and he laughed. And upon hearing this, Reb Itzik, the son of Yankel, bowed low to the guard and then traveled the long distance home. And he dug up underneath the stove in his home, and there what did he find? A treasure. And he used his fortune to build a synagogue, which he called Reb Yekel's Shul. And take this story to heart, Rab Bunam told his students, and make what it says, your own. There is something you cannot find anywhere in the world, not even at the home of a righteous person. And there is, nevertheless, a place where you can find it. And that place might be right where you are right now. Shavua Tov. Thank you. So we're going to do Havdallah now. So if you've got your candle, your Kiddush cup, Mine actually has not grape juice, but Manischewitz in it tonight. You got your candle. You got your
Fancy.
bisamim, your spices, your cloves. That's it, cloves to you? It does. Okay. Okay, Annette, you lead, I'll follow.
You ready? Yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la la, yeah, la la la, yeah, la la, yeah, la la, yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la 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 la, yeah, la la, yeah, la la, yeah, la la, yeah, la la, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei borei ha'esh borei borei ha'esh
Got the Havdallah cam going. Hamavdil ben kodesh lachol hatotenu imchol zarenu bechasbenu yarbecha chol v'chol chavim v'layla.
Shavua tov, 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 Shavua tov. I'll wake up and make gladness rain and joy increase. I'll wake up and make gladness rain and joy increase. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu
That was fantastic. Annette. Thank you. That was wonderful. So 2 quick announcements. First of all, this morning, today was supposed to be Levi's bar mitzvah. And as you all know, we've moved it to October, but he had learned the Torah portion for this morning, which is Kedoshim. So my in-laws are still in Los Angeles. We haven't seen them in a year and a half, as are my parents. So Levi joined their congregation via Zoom this morning. And though it wasn't a bar mitzvah, he read Torah, which was really, really sweet. And he did a great job. The second, yeah, it was awesome. The second announcement is tomorrow I think it's at 1, could be at noon, but I think it's at 1. There's a community workshop I talked about it last night in my sermon, on sort of dealing with COVID and what it's doing to our minds, our bodies, and our spirits, with Dr. Betsy Stone. Dr. Stone is a psychologist who teaches in the School of Pastoral Care at Hebrew Union College in New York, and she's really phenomenal. And if you're interested, the link is somewhere on our website. It's on our Facebook page also. It's probably on the Federation site. It's sponsored by all the organizations and congregations in town. I think it's at 1 o'clock. I plan on joining it. Double check what time it is. And I hope that you'll tune in for that if you feel that it would be helpful to you. Other than that, we are going to, it's at noon, sorry. No, it's at 1. It's at 1. It's at 1. We are looking forward to next Saturday morning, May 1st. Cantor Shani Cohen, our interim cantor, you're going to get an email about this on Tuesday, is going to be joining us to lead services with myself and Rabbi Brown for the first time. They are moving here from New York, and this is sort of their last thing before they leave Brooklyn on their road trip to Vancouver. So join us next Saturday at 10 for Cantor Cohen for Shabbat morning services. And that's it. Thank you, everyone. Shavua
Maybe we should do
Tov.
like a big group mazel tov for Levi.
Yay.
Like, it's always crazy anyways. Like a mazel tov and salmon tov and salmon tov and mazel tov and mazel tov and salmon tov and salmon tov and mazel tov and salmon tov and salmon tov and mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Woo! We love you.
There's Judah. Remember his bar mitzvah? Okay.
Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.
Camera's here, guys.
Good night, everyone. Shavua Tov.
Goodbye.
You can tell we're related.